Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday. We have a jam-packed video for you today as we build ahead to tomorrow's game against St Johnstone at Hampden. We'll round up some of the latest news that's happened at Celtic, a bit of chat about Juranovic. We'll have details of the tributes that are planned for Bertie at tomorrow's game and beyond. We'll have Ange's press conference, well, me chatting about it anyway. Team news, we'll have an insight on St Johnstone with their superfan Stephen Watt joining me. We'll have predicted 11s, my prediction for the game. Basically, you better sit down and make yourself comfy. And we're getting straight into it. No fluff today at all. I want to start by chatting about Juranovic. For me, a player that's gone slightly under the radar so far since signing for Celtic. He is Croatia's #1 right back, and that is no mean feat when you look at the other players that Croatia have in that position. For example, Atletico Madrid's Sime Vrsaljko. He has been Croatia's right back basically since Euro 2016. So Euro 2016, the World Cup of 2018, when Croatia, of course, reached the final, lost to France, and Euro 2020 as well. Well, the first half of that, because ever since then, Juranovic has been the #1 right back for the Croatian national team. A good national team. I watched them playing against Russia last weekend, and Juranovic was genuinely one of the best players in the park. He was absolutely brilliant, getting up and down that right flank, whipping in loads of balls, and I just think he's an absolute star. Croatia have also got Bayern Munich's youngster, Josip Stanisic, who has actually been playing quite a lot for Bayern Munich lately. So Juranovic is really highly rated by the Croatian coaching staff and also by the Croatian media, because I wanted to speak about an article that was included in their outlet, and wait for this, Slobodna Dalmacija. Now, the article was to do with players who have strengthened their place in the Croatian national team and are looking good for the World Cup in Qatar. And that outlet, which I'm going to shorten to SD, said Josip Juranovic has managed to push Vrsaljko into oblivion. His story was special even before he became Dalic's first choice for right back. Juranovic is, in fact, an inspiration for all those guys who start from scratch. Moving from the third league, and within just 3 years, he reached the captain's armband with Hajduk and the national team jersey. He's actually one of the players who have already sampled Hampden going into tomorrow's game. You may recall that he was part of the Croatia team, actually played the full match as they beat Scotland 3-1 at Euro 2020. A particularly bruising night. He actually had quite a big say in the opening goal. Crossed the ball in, that was eventually struck into the back of the net from the Croatian player. Now, there was only 12,000 fans there that night, so it's going to be a bit busier when Juranovic is playing for Celtic tomorrow, but experience nonetheless. Joe Hart is another player who has experienced Hampden, and a full Hampden at that. He was the England goalkeeper the last time they played Scotland at the National Stadium, 2017, when Lee Griffiths fluked a couple of free kicks past him. It's mad how, when you look at Hart and Griffiths, one of them is loved by the Celtic support now, and it's not Lee Griffiths. It's just crazy what has happened and the way football works. And yeah, hopefully better memories for Joe Hart tomorrow. And I personally will never view those goals in the same way again. Now, Leila Bada has also experienced Hampden on international duty in recent times, although not on the pitch. He was an unused substitute for Israel when they just lost to Scotland 3-2 last month. Anthony Ralston actually did get on the pitch, but only for about 13 seconds or something on Monday in Scotland's 2-0 win over Denmark. And obviously the likes of Callum McGregor, Nir Bitton and James Forrest have experienced Hampden as Celtic players on many an occasion. But I'm not concerned in any way about players like Kyogo and Jota. I just think they're going to light up tomorrow night. I honestly think it could be spectacular to view. It's going to be an emotional night as well, though, I think, as Celtic play a match for the first time since the death of Bertie, one of the club's legends. There are lots of tributes planned for the game tomorrow, so I thought we could just run through what's going to be happening. Now, in terms of official stuff from the club, there will be a minute's applause prior to kick-off, while Celtic's players will also wear the number 10 on their shorts during the game tomorrow, 10 obviously being the number synonymous with Bertie Auld. There's also tributes planned by fans. The Green Brigade, most notably, they are planning 2 tributes at tomorrow's match. There will be a pre-match mosaic to welcome Celtic onto the park, and also the familiar 67th minute light show from fans is going to take place as well. So it's going to be a special atmosphere. Beyond tomorrow as well, there's lots more planned to commemorate Bertie Auld. The game against Aberdeen next Sunday, which will be the first at Celtic Park since his death. The club say there will be further tributes there and they'll announce them in due course. Given that the Aberdeen captain that day will be Scott Brown, a man who no doubt knew Bertie well, leaned on him a lot in his time at the club, that could be a particularly special afternoon as well. Finally, Bertie Auld's funeral will take place next Friday, that's the 26th of November. The service is at noon, and then after that the cortege will pass by Celtic Park around 1:30pm. Now the club say they are going to broadcast the funeral service on Celtic TV and the Celtic YouTube channel, while also, interestingly, they say they will install a large screen on the Celtic Way so that fans gathering can watch the service as well. So in terms of the football, it is St Johnstone that Celtic face tomorrow, the Cup specialists, the team that currently holds both the League Cup and the Scottish Cup. But I wanted to find out more about them this season and how they've been doing. So I caught up with Stephen Watt, who is the St Johnstone commentator. He also happens to be a big St Johnstone fan, a massive St Johnstone fan in fact, and also an all-round top guy. So I spoke to him just last night, and I started by asking him about the tough follow-up act that has been this season.
Yeah, well, it was always going to be a little bit after the Wardmere show, wasn't it, in terms of replicating that. And also there's the natural rising of expectations amongst the home support, amongst the fans, because, all of a sudden people are expecting us, to shoot higher than we're probably destined for every season now, and that's not going to happen. I think the Europa League foray at the start of the season, in terms of stretching the squad, which is quite threadbare anyway. We're never blessed with a huge depth of squad, and that was a distraction, and it's probably maybe sucked a bit of energy out of the players as well. Galatasaray and Lask, and we were the underdog in both those matches, and we acquitted ourselves okay, and we had a couple of really good nights at McDermott Park with 9,500 fans in, which was almost that felt like a bit of the reward for the cup wins. That was almost the cup homecoming games, because this is big support for Saints, and I know there was a lot of neutrals in the stadium as well, so we'd also attracted attention from elsewhere. But the league campaign, kind of no got off to a flyer, shall we say.
Yeah, in the league, we played you a couple of weeks ago at Celtic Park. It was a 2-0 win for us. Interesting game, because in the end it was pretty comfortable, but until we scored the first goal, Callum Booth makes that mistake. St Johnstone were kind of doing okay, and a week later I think it was, Livingston came and got a 0-0 draw, and maybe if St Johnstone had held out till half time, 60 minutes, they could have got something from that game. Do you think we'll see a similar St Johnstone performance on Saturday, or will they maybe come out and play a little bit more?
I think they will come out and play a little bit more. With it being a cup game and nothing to lose, 4 out of 4 at Hampden this season, there is, I think they've earned the right to have a little bit of a swagger about them, more so than normal. It's not something that's customary for St Johnstone, or our fans, if that's to be honest. So we've kind of earned this moment, and I hope anyway that we show some attacking intent from the start. We've got guys in the team who are capable, and it's on their CVs now to showcase it, like Sean Rooney, who can really make a difference. So I'm hoping for a more of a cup game.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Rooney missed the last league game, didn't he?
Right. Yep.
I think Stevie May's going to miss this cup tie as well. He's out till Christmas, I think,
Yep.
with a knee injury.
Yep.
Any other kind of injury stuff happening there?
Yeah, I believe that Glenn Middleton went off for the under 21 Scotland last night, Wednesday night, and
Yeah,
no, sorry, Tuesday night, and is a doubt for Saturday as well now, which leaves us really quite thin up top. Chris Kane being the obvious one, he got sent off last league game for a second booking, so he doesn't
he was
miss.
lucky not to get sent off at Celtic Park as well for the Carter Vickers thing, wasn't he?
He
So.
was, that was a aye, yep, yep, agree.
So that will be an interesting one to watch on Saturday as well, with those two probably playing. You've won 4 in a row at Hampden, as you say. We've won 15, so something's got to give on Saturday. I mean, it's two incredible records. I suppose the difference would be that the core of that St Johnstone team that won the 4 last season is still there. I know you've lost, Ali McCann and a couple of others, but Celtic, from our 15 wins, there's probably only really Callum McGregor, Nir Beaton, Tom Rogic, James Forrest, and that's it. So do you think St Johnstone's recent history at Hampden compared to Celtic's lack of or this Celtic team's lack of recent history is a factor?
Ah, I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, we've kept the nucleus of the squad together. Ali McCann is a massive loss. I can't stress that high enough. That player is going to go on to big things. How you boys didn't take a wee pop on him, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
He won't be at Preston for very long, and stuff. Losing him has been a blow. Jason Kerr, another bloke, the captain, lifted both those trophies. But we've achieved this huge thing for the club now, and it's a bit anything now feels like a bonus. I said that after the League Cup win, though.
yeah.
If we win the Scottish Cup, that's a bonus. If we get into Europe, that's a bonus. And we done all that, so I'm not writing us off. I'm kind of just underplaying our chances, maybe.
Okay, I see what you're doing. Well, you've got a mainly Celtic audience here, so you can
Yeah.
go for whatever prediction you want. How do you see the game playing out on Saturday night?
Um, Heart and head kind of says two different things. We've turned a wee bit of a corner, I think, in the league. We picked up 5 points for 3 games just before the international break. We're still really rock solid at the back. You look at our goals against column, and we've the only club who's conceded less than us, Celtic. You've conceded 9.
Really?
We've conceded 12.
Wow.
It's pretty obvious looking at the goals for column to see where our issues lie. So we're just nicking points by a 1-0 or a 1-1 draw or something like that. We scored 8 goals in the league this season, so we need to find a way to score against the meanest defence in the league. I'm going around a long way to say my prediction, am I? Sorry. But we've got creative guys in the team. Ali Crawford coming in, and he's got a spark about him and can make things happen. And Michael Halloran as well, who can blow hot and cold. I think it's fair to say. If he turns up and has a explosive day that he can have, and he's done it a few times against Rangers, in fact, it tends to, then we've got a chance. But it's one of those days where maybe we need to have Celtic at under par, and we need to just be on top of our game. So I'm going 1-1, and then we'll take you to penalties, and then Big Xander's in goal then, eh?
Oh God. It's going to be a great game. I mean, it should be a great match, great spectacle. The kick-off time's amazing. I think
Yeah.
Celtic St Johnstone fans will be having a few scoops before the game. Not us, obviously, because we're working, but
Well,
your normal fit. Are you going to have
I've
your
got
drink?
I've got an afternoon off, so yeah,
Uh,
I am shifting priorities, and my little boy, who's 8 year old, wants to go, and so that made me say, well, okay, I'm a wee man's wanting to go to the football. I shall go into the stands with him and watch the game, which I'm tremendously looking forward to. So yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I've taken up my Hampden before for a Scotland game, so but it'll be different. It'll be different. And of course, 52 years ago, Celtic played St Johnstone in the League Cup final, 1969, and man on the score sheet that day, as I know that a man who's very, very dear to the hearts of the Celtic family, Bertie. And so I just wanted to pay my own respects for that. And I know that he was a gallus character. And that's kind of how St Johnstone fans are feeling just now, quite gallus about ourselves, which is rare. So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, I hope you and your son have a good evening. Not too good, though. I would rather you're still disappointed at the end, but I hope you have a good time, and I'm looking forward to the game as well. Stephen, thanks so much.
No worries, man. No worries. We'll maybe be small in number, but we'll be supporting the team just as much as you boys on the other side of the segregation.
So a good atmosphere expected tomorrow night from both sets of fans. A big thanks to Stephen for giving up some time to shed some light on the Saints. Now let's do team news. Now Ange's press conference was actually on Thursday this week, so a day earlier. So it means we can delve in a little bit deeper to what he said. I've been able to watch the whole press conference. I'm not just relying on some tweets from journalists. The team news, by the way, the most important thing is that Tom Rogic and Karel Starfelt are both unlikely. Now, Ange phrased it as they're more unlikely than likely to play at Hampden, although he did say there was a training session today, that's Friday, and then he would decide after that. The game's probably going to come a little bit too soon for both of them. It is what it is. We'd love to have them both back in the team, but I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker for us tomorrow. We should still be able to win the game without both Rogic and Starfelt. I mean, we won in Hungary and we looked pretty good against Dundee as well without them. So not massively worried about that. Gigi Giakoumakis, that is out of tomorrow's game as well. He got a knock on his knee in the aforementioned Dundee match. He was out for about 2 weeks in total. Obviously about 1 week has passed to that, just over a week. So about another week or so to go. Ange says the good news on the injury front is that all the players that were on international duty have returned unscathed. Even Stephen Welsh, I know there was some reports going about that he had limped off for Scotland's under-21s the other night. It seems like he's certainly fit for the St Johnstone game, which is obviously even more important given that Starfelt isn't. Also, Ange says James Forrest is in the best condition he has been since Ange joined the club. I can't help but feel that James Forrest is going to be a massive player for us when he gets fully up to speed. There was loads of other stuff in the press conference about the game at Hampden and stuff like that, but I thought that was the most interesting stuff that Ange spoke about. Now, the press conference yesterday was actually the first that Celtic have done with the traditional media and 2 fan media outlets as well. Now, the 2 fan media outlets yesterday were GigPod and 4 Tims and a podcast. Both great podcasts. Would urge you to check them both out. And they each got 2 questions to both Ange and the captain, Callum McGregor, who was also up for press duties. For those of you asking, which is probably no one, 67 Hail Hail will get their day in the sun. Next month, we'll be in post-match after the Hearts home game. That's a Thursday night game. And we'll also have the pre-match press conference for December the 18th match. At the moment, that's scheduled to be St Mirren, although if we do win tomorrow, that weekend will be when the cup final will be played. I don't know if that would mean we didn't get into the cup final presser. I know they sometimes work a bit differently. I think they're run by the SPFL rather than Celtic. You don't really care about all this. Not sure why I'm telling you. Anyway, the good news is that Celtic are following through on their word. We had fan media as part of the full press conference yesterday, and that's only going to continue. Right, predicted 11 time, and not too many surprises here. In nets, Joe Hart, back 4 of Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Stephen Welsh, and that man Josip Juranovic. I've got Nir Bitton holding with Callum McGregor and David Turnbull in front, Liel Abada on the right, Kyogo in the middle, and Jota on the left. You may notice that is the same team that we played against both Dundee and Ferencváros. I see no reason to change it at all. The majority of those players, I think 6 or 7 of them, didn't really play any minutes over the international break at all. So they should be fit, they should be raring to go. Hopefully you're raring to go as well. The game tomorrow is a 5:15 PM kickoff. Now I think all week I've been saying it's 5:30, so If you take nothing else from this video, it's 5:15. Don't tune in at 5:30 and expect to see kick-off. For those not going to the match, it is live on Premier Sports. You would kind of hope so, given that the Cup is the Premier Sports Cup. We will have a reaction out after the match tomorrow. It's not going to be live. Sorry. But just keep an eye out for it. It should be dropping at some stage tomorrow evening. Then on Sunday, I think John and I are going to get back together to get his thoughts on how the match went and also any other news that happens post-match. So do us a favour, give us a wee sub. It really does make a difference to the growth of the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing and it takes just 5 seconds. So yeah, do it. See you later.